Record. Nice. Well, hey guys, welcome to Sunday Night Training. My name is Noah. I'm your regional vice president. For some of you, for others of you, I've probably trained you and helped you along the way. So we're all family, right? So listen, we're going to talk about the Crusade tonight. Super important. Primerica was built on literally just doing what's right. And if you don't know, right, a little real quick history lesson. We were founded way back in 1977. The company actually predates that. Art Williams was our founder, literally founded on the idea of just doing what's right for Main Street families. Like if you remember nothing else from tonight, buy term and invest the difference is the like foundational philosophy and principle that the company lives off of. And that means that we buy term, well, clients buy term. We only offer term policies in terms of life insurance to clients because that's what we believe is the best thing for them. And then we say invest the difference. And I'll show you a great example at the end of why that makes sense and why cash value policies, whole life, IULs or index universe, like why those are bad products for like 99.9% of people out there today. Okay. And so like in a nutshell, guys, that's it. We're a Main Street company, like serving Main Street North America, even though we're publicly traded on Wall Street. I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but we're here for like just your average everyday people that need an education in money and finance. That's what we do, guys. And so literally, we believe in buy term and invest the difference. That's all we offer, right? And we believe truly that our principle of buy term and invest the difference crushes whole life policies that you'll pay more for in terms of your actual life insurance, and you're paying more because it's building a cash value over time, right? And I'll show you why it actually makes sense to not do that. Most of us have seen this, right? This is theory of decreased responsibility. If you haven't seen this, I blame your trainer, or you haven't at least sat down on at least one kitchen table yet. But guys, this is what we do, right? For most of our clients, we get them when they're younger, right? They're over here, early years, you need more coverage, right? This dark blue line is your liability, meaning you have kids in the house, you have incomes to replace, you have a mortgage, you have some debt, right? If you flip it around, it's called DIME, debt, income replacement, mortgage, education, expenses for kids, or estate creation. That's like a second E. Because sometimes we have a family member that passes and they're not really looking to, like, maybe they've got all the other stuff covered, but they want to leave something behind. That's estate creation, okay? And so early on in those years, if you lost an income, one or two of the like providers, that's going to be devastating. Like think about like right now in your family, if you lost that primary income without life insurance, most of us couldn't like just write a check for $500,000. Like if I handed you your checkbook and said, hey, write this out, cut a check for $500,000. Most of us can't do that. But what most of us can do is write a check for 60, 70 bucks. And that gives us, $250,000 to $500,000 in life insurance. Am I right? Like that's it. And if you literally can't pick up your pen right now and cut a check for at least 100 grand and you don't have life insurance, that's a problem. I mean, just straight up, right? That's a problem. And this isn't a fear tactic. That's just fact. And like at the other side, right? In the early years, your assets haven't done a lot yet. Like if you're 25 to 40 and you didn't come into just some massive windfall of money, your money hasn't gone through enough doubling periods yet to grow into something that is something that you could fall back on, right? So, but fast forward, right? So like if you thought about like this chart in terms of age, like adulthood, right? Like 25 is over here and like 70 is over here. Those are like your adult working years. Guys, by the time you're over here, it inverts, right? Now your assets outweigh your liabilities. And in the later years, your kids are out of your house. They don't need you. Like, I hope, right? Like, I hope and pray for you that they don't need you by the time you're 65, 70. Now your debts are gone. Your mortgage is paid off. At that point, guys, we would call you what you should be as self-insured, right? Now think about this, and I know it doesn't say this on the slide. Some other slides say it. What other life insurance company can you think of out there ever that is ever going to teach a client how to get out of the need for the product with their name on it. Like literally the one thing that we offer clients with our name on it is Primerica Life Insurance. But I want to teach all of our clients how to become self-insured at the end, right? I want you to have millions in your retirement accounts. By the time you get there, if you have millions in your retirement account, be honest, do you need life insurance anymore? No, you absolutely do not. But the beauty of Primerica is that with our policies at the end of your current term, if you still want coverage, you can never be declined for medical reasons. I don't care what you have going on in your medical record, cancer, AIDS, like pick one, it doesn't matter. You will never be declined. How wild is that? Teresa, you're on my screen. I can see you. You look really shocked. You did not know that, did you? You didn't. That's a problem. Guys, if you didn't know that, that means you haven't sat through a kitchen table yet where some of this was explained to a client or yourself, right? You can put it in the Zoom chat. Who has not sat through their own kitchen table to have their field trainer explain what we do, right? Or at least give you a quote for your own stuff so you have like an idea and understanding. Please put it in the Zoom chat because I'm really curious. If you haven't, guys, you have to after this meeting, or even like right now, you need to message your trainer and just say, listen, I need to set up my own KT. I need to have you explain this to me, because most people literally don't have life insurance because they're like, it's too expensive, I can't afford it. Or they say, man, like I know I need this, but I don't know who to talk to. I don't know who to trust. I'm probably gonna get one of these ratchet guys off the internet. Well, now you're in the business, right? And the beauty of it is now that you're in the business, you can be that trustworthy person for your family and for your people. That's it. Like that's hot market, right? We're going a little bit off topic, but like that is a super important piece to this. And so, look, not all life insurance is equal either, guys, right? Like I just talked about it, IULs, right? So when the company was built, it was built to sort of like destroy and try to go after and crush the cash value life insurance industry, right? Now, think about this. These are real numbers. We are the #2 volume producer of term life insurance in the country. #2. But we only have about 3 to 4% of the life insurance market share in the country. Think about that. Like if the life insurance market was a pie, we have 3%. That's like that much. That means the rest of the people that have life insurance have IULs, have cash value whole life policies, have some garbage ADD policy, which is not actually life insurance, or they have only what they have through work. That's a problem. That's truly a problem, right? Now, the other companies out there don't really like Primerica because we only offer term. And since we only offer term and they offer whole life products, who do you think is making more money off of the product? Us or them? Probably them, right? IULs and whole life products were designed to make the other people money, not protect the client. And it's a bad product, right? And so IULs are sort of like the new like life insurance product, like du jour, right? You see it on TikTok reels and infinite banking and be your own bank and all this hot garbage. But I promise you, I can promise you, buy term and invest the difference wins every time. It just does, because what we do is right, because we're doing with buy term and invest the difference essentially what every whole life cash value policy or IUL is doing on its own anyway. They're taking your money, they're putting your money in the market, they're promising you a percentage return that's guaranteed, something small, because they're taking your money, putting it in the market and getting a higher return so that they can pay you that lower return. They're not going to guarantee you a return if they're not making money off your money, period, right? They wouldn't be in business. They would have no profit. So Index Universal Life has fees, all sorts of just garbage, right? And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, That's okay. Just know if you see someone or know someone that has an IUL, indexed universal life, they're in a bad product and they're probably overpaying. Let me just jump ahead really quick. I kind of explained some of this already. It's a version of a cash value policy that's just bad. You don't want it, right? Fees and charges. Here's a fun fact about IULs. Our term life insurance is level, meaning the price today is the price all the way at the end. You have a 35-year term that is the price today and the price at the end. Doesn't change, right? In an IUL, you have what's called renewable term. So every year, your insurance cost inside of that investment gets more expensive. But you put in the same amount every month. Do you see a problem, right? Like if you're putting in the same amount every month, but the insurance cost is getting more and more expensive. Well, if your insurance cost is getting more expensive, but you're putting in the same amount, well, now, like you used to put in insurance and investment. Well, if this gets bigger and you're not putting in any more money, right? Your investment piece at the end is getting smaller. And then it gets so expensive at the end that the policy actually lapses. Meaning, if you never put more money in monthly, the insurance cost of that is going to get so expensive that your monthly payment is going to not be enough. And then it's actually going to start drawing from your cash value policy on the side to pay for just the life insurance. And then every single IUL will lapse somewhere between year 40 and 50 of that policy if you never put more money in. I'll go head to head with any agent ever that sells an IUL. And you'll run into them and they'll say, oh, well, any properly structured IUL won't do that. Show me one. I haven't seen it yet. It's gross. I promise you, it's gross. You don't like it's just it's nasty. Now here's the other piece, right? We say buy term and invest the difference. That means in order to do the entire full job for the client, our agents have to be fully licensed, meaning you have to be a registered rep, you have to be securities licensed because you're selling a term life insurance product. And then on the other side of that, you want to open actual investment products for clients. We're opening tax-free retirement accounts. These are Roth IRAs, right? Any of your IUL agents out there, they're not investment licensed. They don't have to be, right? They can literally just be life insurance agents. An IUL and a cash value policy are not investment products. They have the potential to accrue like wealth, but they are not investment products, right? Do not conflate the two. Okay. So an IUL versus term, right? There are so many different like testimonials out there from like just financial professionals that think IULs are a bad product. I literally don't know how they are still legal, right? There are places in Canada where you can't even sell those anymore, or portions of cash value. Canada actually outlawed them. Like how crazy? Like that's insane. Like I don't know what we're waiting on. Maybe there's too much money in it for us to actually outlaw them, right? So this is a real quick. So like when we say buy term and invest the difference, this is no different than a cash value policy. So this is IUL versus term, right? And so in this example, our client has a $250,000 policy in an IUL, meaning they have a life insurance policy for $250,000, and then they have it accumulating a cash value, right? So it's called a separate account that money is going into. They're paying, in this example, $250 a month. At the end, based on that chart, right, they've got $127,000 in cash value built into the policy. But their insurance is getting more and more expensive, right? So by the time they're 80, maybe, I don't know, that thing is going to lapse, I promise you. Versus if you look at the other side where you buy term, right, we've given them the same amount of coverage, but the price is level and it never changes. And now we take the difference, right? They're 82 from the 251. We got an extra $169. We're going to put that monthly into a Roth IRA. That Roth IRA is your tax-free retirement account. Whatever money you put in there right now, you've already paid taxes on. And so as that money grows and accumulates, when you go to pay yourself a distribution in retirement, no taxes. If you started that thing today and started investing, and by the time you're 65, you have $1 million in your Roth account, you could literally pull out $1 million in one lump sum, pay yourself all at once, liquidate the thing, and the government can't take any of that money from you. It's not taxable, right? Versus your 401k, or a traditional IRA, you got to pay yourself for that. Well, now you have a business partner. You and Uncle Sam have $1 million, because when you go to pay yourself with that money, it's never been taxed. The IRS is going to get theirs some way or another, right? And so if you only have your 401k, we need to get you set up with a Roth account, and we need to start contributing into that, okay? This is just sort of like the Primerica disclaimer, right? People spend money all the time on stuff they don't need. We need to help show them that if they're willing to drop $400 or $500 a month on car insurance, it's probably a safe bet that they're more valuable and important than that car. 80 to $100 a month, like on the high end for one person, is probably doable. And if it's not doable, we need to sit down and do a financial needs analysis and show them in their money and in their budget where they have actually some room. We just need to sort of like reevaluate how we're spending money, right? And so let me jump out of this really fast and jump over to the actual like policy that I replaced for a client, super young, right? Healthy, young female. She thought she was doing the right thing, and along the way had taken out a whole life policy, right? So we say no to trash value and yes to buy term and invest. The difference. You guys know this already. This is a real client, right? She was 24. She was female, so young, healthy, and thought she was doing the right thing. She took out a $50,000 whole life policy because that's what her mom and her grandmother had going back to eternity, right? They had only ever had whole life policies because that's just what most people have, guys. And so when we sat down and I said, hey, like, what do you know? She's like, well, I have a life insurance policy already. I said, great, that's amazing. Can I, like, do you have it? Can we review it? Can we kind of like, can I give you some education in money and finance and in what you have? And she's like, yeah, that'd be great. Nobody ever taught me like what it is. They just said, hey, you need to do this. And so like pretty basic explanation, right? In the first year of the policy, she's paying $815 a year. And at the end of the year, there's no money. And at the end of year 2, there's no money. End of year 3, oh, we've got a little, but now there's like 558. Kind of weird, right? Kind of weird. The first 2 years of any policy is a loss for the company, which means in this situation, it's also a loss for the client. So let's fast forward to age 65, right? She's not paying any more into the policy. She's done paying. It's considered paid up insurance, right? But at the end, or at age 65 now, there's 27,000 in there in cash value. Let's look and fast forward to see how long it's going to take for her to get to 50,000 in cash. Remember, people sell these as investment products. Well, one, is 50,000 in cash enough to retire with? No, not by a long shot. But how many people do you guys know they're going to make it to 120 years old? Like, that's bananas, right? And just think about this. At age 65, now she's done paying, there's only 27,000 in cash in there. If she dies, do you think her family wants 50 grand? Like, do they want the 50 grand cash? Or do they want 27,000? Put in the Zoom chat. Tell me what you think. Which one do they want? I mean, I know which one I would want, but which one do they want the 50K? So here's the trick question, guys. If they want the 50K, who keeps 27? Now who keeps it? Right? The company. And that's what's gross. And guys, this applies to whole life. This applies to IULs, right? Now, unless you have what we call, well, not what we call, but in the industry, it's generally like a Schedule D or some sort of addendum attached to the policy, which costs more. You don't get both. right? People will say, oh, well, no, you get both. Like, no, you don't. You only get both if you have a special addendum or another rider attached onto the policy that will cost you more money. But like, why would you pay more money to have both? Like, I'm just going to buy term and then I'm going to put the money into a Roth IRA and let the money in the market do its thing. Here's the other thing that cash value does, right? People say, oh, well, like, I really wanted to do it because I could borrow against it. Like, wait, you want to borrow against it? Like, Neva, are you in the business of borrowing your own money? That's bananas. Who would do that? Because, guys, what happens when you borrow money from a bank? You're going to pay it back, and you're going to pay it back with interest, right? No bank is in the business of giving money away for free. And so, since you have to pay it back with interest, well, that's wild, right? Like, oh, in this situation, it's paid in arrears. And so if she ever took a loan, like say she took 20 of that 27,000 in cash and then died the next 2-3 years later, right? She stopped paying, remember, right? Over here, remember, she stopped paying. And so she's like, oh, I just took some of my own money. Well, that $27,000 in loan money is now accruing 8% interest in arrears. And so when she dies, maybe it was 20 years later, her family had a $20,000 loan that she never paid back that's been accruing interest for 20 years. Now, instead of getting 50,000, they might not be getting anything because they're paying back the loan and interest. That's extra gross, right? So how did we help her? Okay, so like, look, this is her real stuff, right? So she's 24 and female. You guys would agree that she probably would get a preferred health rating, right? She had no health issues whatsoever. And so she did a medical check. She actually came back with precision, right? Class 2. I 5x her coverage, guys. 5x. She went from 50 to 250,000. And since she had waiver of premium on, there's a $175,000 living benefit in there to where if she ever got a terminal illness, she can access 70% of her policy in cash, tax-free, because it's her money. She's just advancing the death benefit. The policy's 35 years level, guys. It's going to take her all the way to age 59, and the price is never going to go up. Never. And she's guaranteed insurability at the end. Oh, by the way, by the time we get to year 10 and 11, the increasing benefit rider, that inflation protection that's built into your policy, every year, if the client decides to keep it, you get an extra 10% on top of your coverage. The price goes up incrementally. It's a tiny bit, but you don't have to, like, you never have to do like another medical check for it. You just get more coverage and the price goes up tiny bit. It's all relative to your age and like there's a lot. But at year 11, she actually has now $500,000 in coverage. She's 10 years older. Her second $250,000 is cheaper than her first $250,000, and the price stays the same for another 10 years. It doesn't go up until year 21. At year 21, it goes up a lot, so we always cancel it then. But for the next 10 years, she's got $500,000, never had to do another medical check. It's insane. For $27 a month, almost like 28, right? That's $332 AP, annual premium. Her other policy was 8 and change, right? So I saved her $483 a year. So now what do we do with that money? She was already paying it, but now we took it and I'm going to invest it for her, right? So and I saved her $40 a month, and then we bought term. Now we invest the difference, right? So she's 24. We're going to let that money ride until she's like 65, normal retirement age, right? Shocking. We started with no money in the account. We just put in the $40 a month, and we put it into a pretty aggressive mutual fund. The S&P over the last 50 years, guys, 5 decades, the S&P 500, the 500 biggest companies in the country have given us 9.48% return average over those years. I'm gonna go on a limb and say we're probably going to get at least 9%, if not more, moving forward. Now, it's not every year, right? Like it does this, but over time, it just keeps going up, right? Who remembers like 2017, so 6 years ago, everyone was freaking out when the Dow crossed 20,000. Dow 20,000. It was huge, right? The Dow lives at like 35 and change now, 37 the other day. You guys realize that's $37 trillion worth of company value that's out there. That's what that represents. That's what that number represents. It's almost doubled, guys, in 6 years. That's nuts, right? So look at this. Just with that $40 a month, right? Not doing anything else, at the end of that time, at 9% growth, we're looking at over $200,000. Now, obviously, it's the hypothetical, there's nothing guaranteed, but even if I was horribly wrong and it only got like half of that value, that's still 100 grand. And she's only 65. She doesn't have to be 120 years old, because at 120, she was only going to have 50, right? It's just nuts. We put it into a Roth IRA, so that's tax-free money, right? When she goes to pay herself, it's tax-free. She's got over 205,000 versus the 27,000 that was going to be there when she was 65 on that whole life policy. It's just nuts. Oh, wait, and she's alive. She doesn't have to be dead to get it, because that's money in her Roth account. Here's the other fun fact. If she does die, that money that's in her Roth IRA is going to roll to a beneficiary, and it's just going to roll into one of their Roth accounts, which means no penalties. They have 10 years to figure out what the hell they want to do with it before they ever have to liquidate, pay a penalty, do anything. Do you guys, like, are you starting to see why we say what we do is right 100% of the time? And buy term and invest the difference wins every single time. Oh, by the way, God forbid she died along the way, right? Now she's got $500,000, depending if it's within that first 20 years and we still have the IBR, the increasing benefit rider. And the family gets both. They're going to get a death benefit, and whatever is in that retirement account, we're going to roll to her beneficiary. They can liquidate it if they want. I would recommend they don't, because they're getting a big chunk from a death benefit. You don't need what's in that retirement account. Roll it so you don't pay any penalties and you don't pay any taxes yet, right? But this is why you guys have to know what we do. And so let me show you one other thing really fast, and then I will answer whatever questions you got, because it's only 9:30, and I know Andy said we were going to go a little quick. So if you guys go on to POL, right, into POL Home, this is, now if you log into POL for the first time and you're brand new, it's going, and you're not licensed and appointed yet, it's going to take you into the app first. If it makes me log back in, yeah, here we go. Hang on. It's going to take you into the app first. So I'm going to walk you from the app to POL, like actual. Oh my God. If it spins this many times, it usually doesn't work. But just hold on. Oh my God. Don't send me an email. Are you kidding me? This is what it does to me with clients sometimes too, guys. It drives me nuts. Just hang on. It didn't do this to me like all day. That's okay. We're all family, so I know you're not mad at me. But start thinking about questions. If you have them, start putting them in the chat, and then once I get done showing you this, I'll go to the chat and I'll answer any questions you guys have. But on POL, there are tons of like training products and all sorts of stuff, right? So this IUL demo that I had pulled up for you guys, you can pull it up, you just download it. There's tons of other ones in here, all sorts of stuff, right? If you're ever curious about where any of us get some of this, God bless, it's not going to work. But this is POL, right? So if you go to training and development, if it lets me, right, it'll be here. So skills, prospecting, setting appointments, different presentations. Use just whenever we do stuff inside of Redline Hierarchy, we just use the blue pages, right? That's the 6-page sales presentation document, this guy. We only use this because it's simple and we can replicate it easily. Everyone in this should know what this page is, right? This is the blue page. Now, some of you don't know that there are actually like 5 other pages that keep going in this, right? So this is the debt stacking scenario. This is how we teach people how to, without changing their current income, pay their bills more strategically, right? Most people throw their bills in the air and like close their eyes and hit it with like a shotgun blast of money and just hope they go away. No, I want you to use like a sniper rifle and just like start killing bills and never letting them come back to life. That's what we do with debt stacking, right? And so like a debt stack, you're going to help someone get out of debt literally like decades faster and save them hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest, depending on the client. I did one for a client Saturday, going to save them close to $400,000 in interest and help them get out of debt like 90 years sooner. It's wild, guys, without changing their income, right? And so rule of 72, this is how we figure out how long it's going to take your money to double. 72 divided by your interest rate that you're going to receive is how long it takes your money to double, right? When I show this to clients, guys, they don't really care what I need to help them do to get to the 2.5 million 48 years from now. They just know they don't want 40,000 with the same money. I mean, it's pretty simple, right? And then here, buried down in here is cash value versus buy term and invest the difference. This is the exact same demo as the IUL versus buy term. It's the same concept, right? And then down here, right? This is how life works. This is that theory of decreased responsibility. So this is that 6-page blue page demonstration. I don't know why POL hates me right now, but in here is an IUL fact sheet that I can throw out there, but like it's just a great explanation in terms of IULs. So I saw some questions going in. It's because you're presenting. I don't know what that means. Oh yeah, you've seen that page. Good. I would hope so. Do you have to be securities licensed to help a client with debt stacking? Absolutely not, Mandy. Right. And so that is a great question. You don't even have to be life licensed to help someone with a debt stacking. You should all go in, right? Go into POL and into Turbo Apps. God bless me if it doesn't work, right? And so at the top, now if yours doesn't look like mine, that's just, you just don't have as many like tricks up your sleeve yet. But FNA is financial needs analysis. Now inside of Turbo Apps, this is the full FNA. That's the one that's going to take a long time because there are like 97 different rabbit holes that you can go down inside of an FNA, like filling in information, right? Let me just, okay, you guys didn't see any names. Let me just show you one live, right? So this is an actual FNA. Obviously you need the client info, you need their income. And then the biggest one that you need to help with in terms of figuring out their debt plan is income, the debt resolution tab, and then budget and financial position. Everything else you can sort of build over time and keep improving upon. But if you want to actually give them that debt plan, you have to fill this out, because without knowing their budget, like what are they spending on groceries and gas and water and electricity and everything else, right? Like without filling this stuff in, you're never going to get good information. And so like garbage in, garbage out, right? And then if you wanted to be able to show them, you know, how we were going to help, once you fill all of that information in, right? Debt resolution, and then surprisingly, right? Click results, boom, right? Look at this. They would be 135 before they got out of debt. That's paying the minimums on all of their stuff that they currently have. That's not even assuming they add any more, right? So just doing debt stacking, we're not adding any extra income. They're going to be out of debt in 10 years and 8 months. But when we went through their stuff, we actually found that they have close to like $700 extra that is unaccounted for every month. And I was like, hey guys, can we like start accelerating this a little bit? Let's just take, I don't want to take all of it. Let's just take 450 for right now. And let's play with this for a few months and see how we do. Can we do that? And they said, yeah, sure. I said, cool, because we're going to knock an entire year off of your debt now and save you like an extra 20 grand in interest. Amazing, right? Now, got to remember, like there are mortgages involved in this too. So a lot of this interest comes from the mortgage that we're going to save. But who cares? That's still $335,000 or $353,000 we're going to save them. And now that they're out of debt 9-10 years from now, and they've got an extra $5,600 a month to play with, who do you think they're going to call when it comes time to invest that money? Me. Well, oh, by the way, because I already opened Roth IRAs for their kids, I'm going to open Roth IRAs for both of them, right? When we free up some more of this. They were so blown away by how impactful starting now and investing some money for their kids was going to be. Oh, by the way, they were clients spending $1,000 a month on IULs. I did both of their life policies for $160 a month. And now we're putting away $300 a month for 3 kids, $100 a month each in an IRA. We're still $500 a month less. That's enough to almost fully fund one of their Roth IRAs. But we're going to get some of this debt figured out first, right? Watch this. Let me just show you really quick. The Ramsey investment calculator is super cool. I love it a lot. It's very simple, right? This is the one that demo was. Their youngest is 3. My boy Charlie's 3 years old, not 1, he's 3, right? We opened the account with 100, and we're going to put in $100 a month. At that same 9% rate of return, now again, nothing is guaranteed, right? Do you think young Charlie is ever going to be angry at his mom and dad for just putting $100 a month away for him in a Roth IRA? And if Charlie just keeps putting that same 100 away until he's 67, he's going to have over $4 million, right? Now, even if I'm just bad and it's only 6%, it's still almost $1 million. But do you see how big of a difference just 3% rate of return is over time? That's wild, guys. And so the only place you're going to get that 9 or 12% rate of return is having your money in the market, dollar cost averaging, meaning it doesn't matter if the market's up or down. Every month, you're just going to put the same amount into your Roth IRA. Because like when market's down, people freak out. They're like, oh my God, the market's down. I can't put money in right now. Like that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, right? If the market's down and your groceries are cheap, right? And you go to the store and your favorite coffee that you spend $10 a month on normally is now on sale for $2.50. Same coffee. Nothing wrong with it. It's not spoiled. There's nothing wrong. Like literally, there's nothing wrong with it. Are you only going to buy one? No. You're going to spend that same $10 and now you got 4 big old jugs of coffee. Guys, that's dollar cost averaging because next month when you go back, for some reason, that same coffee is now $11. And you're like, damn it, I got to spend $11 and I only get one this time. But that's okay because I still have like 3 extras, but I'm still going to buy my coffee, right? Over time, even though you spent more sometimes and less on the others, you're averaging more shares, right? And that's the way it works when you put money into your retirement accounts with the same amount monthly, regardless of what the market's doing. That's dollar cost averaging. At the end, you'll have put in the same amount of money. But if you'd have chosen one day to put it all in, you're betting on hoping that the market's low, right? Or selling when the market's high. There's no such thing as timing the market, right? Like you might as well go play like slots in Vegas. That's about as lucky as you're going to be, guys. But if you are just time in the market consistently over time, the market is going to give you back that return. There's no way to fight it. It's just math and in compound interest. Einstein said it best, right? Compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. You can't fight it. You literally can't fight it, truly. And so let me check the chat. There's some more stuff going on. Are these, hold on, learning something new? Can we fill that on ourselves? Yes, you can absolutely fill it out on yourself. I highly recommend going in there and just screwing around with your own stuff and keeping your own F&A up to date, because track your own stuff, right? Let me show you something super powerful. Yes, you can email it to them, 100%. You can email it to them. Let me go back. Where is my, of course it just died, like just doesn't, it just quit. Okay, here we go. So this was the results page, right? But if you want to print it, print. You print you can select everything that you want. You print the PDF out, you download it, email it to them, right? Hold on. Are these good to do if we have no debt, really? Maybe just for budgeting purposes, if we're a 1-income household with a crap salary? Why not, right? Because here's the other cool thing. Let me show you this really fast too, right? So in results, the nice thing that you get with results is it shows you your debt payment plan. Remember how I was saying people throw money in the air, shotgun, right? They don't know what to do, right? This tells you exactly what to do. Like, hey, the first thing we're going to do is get rid of that Lowe's card, right? We're going to pay this joker off, right? And don't feel constrained to this. If you have more money and you want to throw extra money at it at the end of the month, great. Do it once your next paycheck hits, because I don't want you paying it all off and then putting more money on a card, right? So just wait till you have it actually there surplus and then put it on. Okay. And so, like, guys, like, this literally, who remembers when they had their recruiting interview and we said, hey, we do a financial needs analysis for people. It's sort of like a GPS or like a roadmap for your money. There it is. There it is, right? And this is just the results of the debt stuff, guys. It goes into life insurance. It goes into your actual like financial independence number, right? Who in here is brand new and doesn't know what their financial independence number is yet? Anybody? Don't be shy, guys. Don't be shy. Throw it in the chat. Who's first in the chat? Okay, who said it first? Brian. Let's see. When you do the FNA, it mentions sending the privacy papers and signing. Where are those? I didn't get those to pop up. I haven't signed any privacy papers. Probably should have. Probably should have shown you guys that. Right. So maybe I'll slice this piece out of the recording. Brian, you can go ahead and unmute yourself, dude.
Actually, I'm a female.
Oh, sorry. I saw Brian Petzold's names, but Ryan, yeah, for sure. So
Ryan, sorry. I was actually meaning the FNA papers. When I was trying to do it for myself, it mentions a privacy thing, and I'm like, geez, I'm getting ready to do these for clients. I don't know how to get them these papers that apparently I'm supposed to have them sign. But if you haven't had those pop up, then maybe I just did it wrong.
It's probably just a pop-up that shows up and I just ignored it because it doesn't affect doing the FNA, right? Like basically any of the privacy stuff says that you're not going to share like personal and PII, like personally identifiable information out with other people, right? Like I never showed you guys any socials, any like whatever. I could have made those people up completely, right? So
understood. Okay.
Yeah, that's all that is. But financial independence number. So financial independence number, guys, real quick, is the easiest way to do it is in the app, and you do it on the mobile FNA. The like long drawn out FNA is the one that'll give you that cool roadmap and plan. But financial independence number for people is super powerful because most people think retirement is an age, and they're like, yeah, 65, retire. Well, if you're 65 and you don't have enough money to pay yourself in retirement and not drastically change your lifestyle, can you actually retire? I mean, the answer is no, right? And so I believe that retirement is not an age, it's just a number, right? And so since retirement's a number, it's actually a dollar value. And everyone's is different because your financial independence number is related to your current income, your lifestyle, and all of that, right? And so let's say, I don't know, do I have a John Doe in here? I'll just make one. Right. And so we're going to make John, right? Shows you your two major risks in life with your money. You either die too soon or live too long. Die too soon, we take care of with life insurance. Live too long means we need to start investing now so that by the time you reach retirement, you don't actually outlive your money and you don't have to go back to Walmart in like a reflective vest when you're 65, right? Because nobody wants to do that. You need to be on a beach with a Mai Tai, not at Walmart with a reflective vest, right? So this is the client privacy notice stuff. Yeah, whatever. I'm with you, Ryan. It's there, right? We're good. So let's see. John Doe, John's 18. Perfect. And he's a man. So let's say John makes $4,000 a month, right? In retirement, guys, on average, we say you're probably going to need about 80% of your income in order to retire and not drastically change your lifestyle, right? So John's 18, and he's only making $2,000, right? He's just figuring stuff out. So in retirement, he's going to need $1,600. Here's the crazy part, though. John's only 18. That means he's not going to retire for like 7 years? That's a hot minute. Inflation over 47 years, even at 3%, is going to eat John's lunch, and he doesn't even know it yet. He has no idea. John can't even spell inflation. We're going to help him, right? So remember, the Fed, like the government, we want 2 to 3% inflation every year. That's natural GDP growth, right? Gross domestic product. That means the economy is growing, we're doing the right things, it's getting bigger. That's natural. 3% inflation is good, right? And so John's $1,600 today, if he never made any more money in retirement, he needs actually close to $7,000. That's 6,809. That's just 3% inflation, right? And so when I ask clients, I say, hey, is your $250,000 policy that you just took out today, is that going to be the same $250,000 15 years from now? And they say, no. I say, you're absolutely right. And that's why we build in inflation protection into your life insurance policy. It's called an increasing benefit rider. And that second 10 years of your policy, from years 11 to 20, you actually have double your face value on your policy, because we know that inflation is a real thing, right? And so guess what, John? Your $2,000 a month salary right now, by the time you retire at 47 years from now, you're going to need $1.3 million in retirement. And so let's talk about what you actually have, right? Oh, John says he has nothing in retirement savings. He's like, dude, this is amazing. I see the light, right? Like I have like $100 right now. Ooh, 100,000. I received that, right? Man, my thing is going wild. And he's like, I'm just gonna put $100 a month away. No, that's all I can do. I said, I'm with you. I'd rather 200. I want you to start around 10%, but I'll take 5, right? Something is better than nothing, right? And so you look down here at your assumptions. You're on average going to live to be about 85. Your rate of return, it says conservatively, we're going to get 8. When you retire, we're going to rebalance your money, and it's going to go into something more conservative, because we can't handle those same fluctuations if we're on a fixed income. So our rate of return during retirement is going to drop. And now we're just barely outpacing inflation, right? So now we're going to figure out, hey, John, you're doing okay, man. Look, just putting $100 a month away, you're actually going to have about 740 grand. But we said we needed 1.3. So $100 a month, we actually need to get closer to 180, right? Remember I said we're at 5%. I want you closer to 10. Guys, that number doesn't change regardless of how much money you make. Think about that. It doesn't matter who you're talking to. We need to get you closer to 10%. But it's only that because John's so young. If you're 40 and you need to get to the same number, you have to increase that number drastically. Or you have to figure out that you're going to soft retire, not have that same income, or change your lifestyle. There's no way around it, right? It like at that time, like we're actually talking about, no kidding, a fixed pie. Like it just is. And so if John's willing to say, oh man, no, you're right, dude, let's just go to the 180. We can do this now. Okay, cool, right? Like I just change your monthly pack. That's a be
your best friend. It's really random. Teachable is going to be your best friend.